Sitting for the regular, the geekiest geek, the leader of the Geek Squad, Kobina Nkrumah. The human embodiment of everything Sonic the Hedgehog. One of the coolest people. He would have been here talking geek, but you have me for the next 54 minutes. And textism. It can be described or considered as one of the fastest growing style of electronic communication, which is regularly used in computer mediated communication. Alright, so if you hear someone going on about CMC, well, that's computer mediated communication. And it refers to the use of abbreviations and other techniques to compose SMS and instant messages. So when you use your emojis and you use short forms such as IMUM, LOL, LMAO, then you are applying textism. Now, it can be considered, for example, if the extensive use of abbreviations like TQ for thank you, or NITE, that's night for night. As a matter of fact, on most smartphones, you can actually also teach your phone some of these things. So if you, for example, want to say, how are you, you can type HWR, and then it will expand that into the full text, how are you. But textism is the other way around, where you are actually using abbreviations to communicate a full sentence. Now, if you get it, I'd like you to try and put something together. You are welcome to Geek Squad. You can send us your WhatsApp to 0244340437. And if you have any questions, do share them with us. But the panel will be assembling in a moment via Zoom. The true geeks will be joining us in a moment. So as I was saying earlier, all the abbreviations have become a common language and generally do not conform to the standard English rules in writing and spelling. The words are apparently misspelled. And these have been referred to as intentional misspellings. And these intentional misspellings do have a connotation to those who understand it. But how do we make sense of all of these? If you're having conversation with some millennials, of course you're going to realize that sometimes they write things in different ways. I remember a whole bunch of people who I've tried being cool with would have very interesting approaches to typing and writing. And I'm still stuck in the old school where I try to write everything I think and make it look as though I was speaking. I think if I was having a chat with a millennial by, the computer-mediated communication modules, I would end up showing my real age. But yeah, if you're just like me and you grew up writing text in full, and now you have to learn textism, well, then you're welcome to the show, because that's exactly the conversation we're going to be having on the show today. So the digital natives, other folks like to call them the millennials, this is how they communicate. Just some examples of your own with us in a moment. I will be joined by the panel. And in fact, I'm going to try and drag Kobe Spikey out of the corner that he's in. He was unable to make it all the way here today. But he's the cool dude. Sometimes people write LOOL. I thought it was laughing out loud, but I don't know what LOL means. It's quite interesting. I had a conversation with one of my colleagues earlier today about, the evolution of certain things, and this centered around the subject matter of viral videos. But he said something very, very interesting and profound, that a lot of these things have been in use, and then they later on become defined with codes and standards. Maybe those who just couldn't spell in the beginning and made a whole bunch of mistakes, who looked weird to us, are now the cool kids in the class, because they're the ones who know how to now write. But I think it takes quite a certain level of skill to be able to articulate yourself using textism. So my assignment to you, our listeners, today is write "You are welcome" to Geek Squad. You are welcome to Geek Squad. That is what I would like to see. You can send that out to us, hashtag Geek Squad. Or you can mention me at GH Rainmaker on Twitter. And if you are on WhatsApp, you can send it to 0244340437. And who knows, I might just have a very nice gift for one of you. Can you imagine there may come a time that you have to buy a book or download an ebook or something to help you with your text abbreviation language literacy? The things that the fourth industrial revolution has birthed. Just so many of them. Again, my name is Nhyira Addo, and this is Geek Squad. So, are you worried that you may be having COVID-19 symptoms? Well, don't panic. You can download the Lucy app to access COVID Connect. Now, COVID Connect is not just an app. It actually is an interface, and it is a service. COVID Connect is a virtual consulting room which allows users of the app to fill in their COVID-19 symptoms. If your symptoms are rated mild to high risk, you would receive a call from the medical team at the University of Ghana Medical Center. They will care for you, and based on the treatment guidelines prescribed by the World Health Organization, at the comfort of your home, and an ambulance will be dispatched to pick those who may require in-hospital treatment for and testing for COVID-19. Download the Lucy app right now and connect to this service. Lucy is spelled Luscii. COVID Connect. Connect for Health. COVID Connect is brought to you by UGMC, Ministry of Health, and supported by the Farm Access Foundation. Now, talking about COVID-19. Let me share with you a very important notice. The world is dealing with a pandemic never precedented in scale and impact. The new normal is here, and while there is uncertainty and anxiety, there is hope in the knowledge and ability to be proactive at every turn of our lives. At work, at home, in our community, wherever we find ourselves. New Crystal Health Services Limited, in partnership with Joy FM, Joy News, present a thought leadership forum dubbed COVID-19 Safety at Work. This event brings together professionals and experts in the healthcare value chain as they share invaluable insights into how we can remain productive and safe in the face of the coronavirus pandemic. Questions about your safety at work as an employee and the responsibilities of employers in the light of these developments and the fight will be addressed. This event comes off on Monday, 22nd of June 2020 at Labadi Beach Hotel from 10 a.m. and it will be live on your superstation Joy 99.7 and your most credible news source Joy News on multi-TV. The more you know, the more you can do to be safe. So join us for COVID-19 Safety at Work on Monday, 22nd June from 10 a.m. This event is brought to you by New Crystal Health Services Limited with support from Farmer Access and powered by Joy Thought Leadership. Okay, so just having a little technical challenge getting my folks on there. But so here's what we're going to do. Before I go to the lines to have a chat with the guys, I'm just going to try and read some of the messages that are coming in already. Right, so now I do have Winston Washe on the line. Hey, Winston. Hello, Winston. Hi, Winston.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Well, quite okay. It's been a long day, but there's still more to be done. Now, you know, it never dawned on me until we decided we should, have this conversation around the phenomenon of textism, that there was so much literature around it and that it's a whole industry that's evolved. I mean, the use of emojis and abbreviations to communicate. Is that your style? Do you use that very often in the way you communicate with others when you text?
No, I don't. I don't.
Oh, so you're a bit like me, yeah?
Yeah, for the lack of a better term, I don't like it. I mean, I get it sometimes, but if your abbreviation is as long as the word you're trying to say or what you're trying to say, then, bro, what are you doing? But yeah, I understand the use of it, and it's been the bread and butter of social media and texting and everything. It's evolved into meme culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's here to stay. It's really here to stay. I see people doing it, and there are times where you're on social media and even someone tweets a very long set of letters and they seem jumbled up, but it's fun to try and decipher what the person is saying in shorthand from what they've just written. So yeah, I personally don't use it.
Yeah, I mean, for someone who is one of the senior geeks in the geek squad, I'm surprised you don't do that. But it's described as an epidemic style of communication that is the preserve of the digital natives or the net generation. Do you think that this could become a challenge where people are unable to switch between textism and writing full characters and text when they communicate with other people? So, for example, a millennial having a conversation with their great aunt, great uncle, or grandparents in the near future.
Well, it could. I feel like it's a two-way thing. It's not inherently a problem because you need to know the words you are going to say before you create the abbreviation for them. So you are aware of what you are saying. Like for instance, IKR, you know it's I know, right? So you know the word.
Well, at one point I didn't know. Somebody used it in a conversation, and I was like, okay, you may think of me as a really cool person, but to be honest with you, I don't know this one. And then they explained it,
Yeah.
and then it makes it easy for you to also be able to use those sort of things. But I mean, some of it. The first time I saw ICMI, I thought to myself, what does ICMI means? I see. Well, in case you missed it, IY. See,
Yeah.
in case ICYMI. In case
Yeah.
you missed it, isn't that more confusing?
To be honest, if you don't know it, it can be a hell of a chore to try and figure it out. Sometimes it's actually an inconvenience, I'm not gonna lie. And sometimes I wonder why people post it because I'm like, if you're texting on your phone has autocorrect. Why do we have to go through all of this just to try? It's like you can spend at least 5 minutes trying to figure out what the person said because it's a brand new abbreviation a person came up with and didn't consult you whether you knew it or not, and they just dropped it. So yeah, I can see where in certain lines it's not the best means of communicating. I'm going to be honest. It's not
Really?
the best means of communicating.
Now,
But it is a form of communication.
quite interesting. I remember in the early 2000s, the offshoot from British Telecommunications, which became O2, started out. The brand started out as BT Genie, and they had some very interesting stuff. And I recall that there was a small book that sought to teach users how to use and write very fast on using text short abbreviations. It was like a little dictionary that started, the various, HRU, how are you, for example. And it was a small booklet, which is very, very interesting. It didn't catch on at the time because soon after, technology evolved to allow people to now start, using chat platforms and apps like, the smartphone was born, and it changed everything. I thought it was gone because at the time, BT Genie's biggest offering was to offer unlimited text messaging to the customers on the network, right? But then I thought that it was going to be obsolete until maybe about 4 years ago when people started using more, abbreviated languages. Do you foresee a situation where when the generation that uses textism grows, we will start seeing maybe some language literacy evolving, like a dictionary evolving out of this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you can even find these things on Urban Dictionary, so it's a start. I feel like it's only a matter of time for some of the very, very popular Texisms to transfer into regular speech and then to transfer into dictionaries, like real fully fledged dictionaries, because it's it's become the mode of communication now. And if we are considering the people like the millennials and the people who are currently in the internet age, if this is the way we communicate, then it's going to stick. There's no way it's not going to stick. And yeah, we will just have to do it. It's just shocking that BTG brought out basically a lexicon book on that when they were giving you free SMSs. Because in my honest opinion, it's fine to use sexism if you are sending an SMS because you have a limited number of characters, so it makes sense. But if it's free, I'm just very surprised by that information.
Well, it's free, but they probably didn't want you to abuse it. I mean, the other thing, one could talk about today is, for example, until recently, Twitter only allowed you to use 140 characters. And I found that you either needed to become a genius at being brief and still making the point you wanted to make, or you had to resort to shortening some of your words. And sometimes, I find myself having to use different, like if I was writing something and then I ran out of character allowance, then I will look for, say, the word end, and then I will change that and use the symbol. Do you think that these are some of the things that have given rise to the use, even though we've now gone to 200 and is it 240 or 220 characters? I mean, I write within that, so I never count. But really, there's been, I heard number 5 had something to do with, number 45 had something to do with why it was increased, because he was constantly texting. But lately he's been having a fight with Twitter anyway. Do you think that these platforms, these microblogging platforms, could have influenced why we communicate the way we do, using textism and emojis?
Yeah, definitely. I wholeheartedly agree. Like I stated earlier, if an SMS has only 180, 140 characters, and after which, if you exceed, you have to pay double, and you realize that what you are going to say just eggs into the next set of 180 characters by only like 2 letters. Of course, you try and figure out a way to make it work so that you can save yourself some money. And if back then, like you said, with a tweet, it was very short, you had to be concise, you had to summarize. It was very interesting the way people were able to put their tweets together. And it's also very interesting how now that there are more characters and people still find a way to overuse or overextend it. But yes, microblogging is the reason why we talk the way we do, or we text the way we text, because we need to say what we have to say with a given limited space. And in order to do that, abbreviations are the only way to go. So yeah, I will agree that that's one of the causes.
Okay, so the rest of the gang has assembled. Kobina Spikey is on there, as well as I think Michael Ajete should be joining us. Is also on there. Hi guys, if you can hear me, let's hear a quick hello from both of you.
What's up?
Okay, so Spikey, I'm going to come to you in a moment, but before I do that, we have quite a lot of messages coming through on the WhatsApp platform, and so someone says, "Hi Joy FM, YW, the number 2 GS." I'm guessing that's how they're saying you're welcome to Geek Squad. Now, do you foresee us having conversations like this and being able to fully appreciate and understand and have the same emotions you would have if somebody wrote the text in full? Okay, let's do this with Ajete. Michael.
I think we lost him.
Oh, Michael's... Okay, well, Spikey, let me come to you then. Can you see yourself actually chatting with someone and writing these things? Isn't it harder to learn?
It's very funny, because anytime someone sends me a message and the person abbreviates certain things, I find myself asking them, what is that supposed to mean? Because most of the time it's like they generalize that, oh, you're supposed to know what it is. There's this one time someone, and it's not only abbreviations. Some short form like this. Someone says this, and then they write DIX, and I'm wondering, oh, is that supposed to be like a prescription medicine or something? It's like
Well, I thought
Dix
that's French for the number 10.
for D exactly. But then the person wrote IX spiky, asking me,
Is
is this
this
spiky?
spiky? Oh my goodness! But you know what? You had to endure that, but I'm sitting here imagining it, and I think it's really cool.
How difficult is it to replace that X with a proper S? And to even replace the other X in this with a proper X? I mean, it just seems like it's supposed to be a slang, like, yeah, it's what's up. Yeah, all the kids in high school are doing it. But yeah, it may become a thing amongst that generation. I hate to say this because it makes it sound like I'm so old.
Yeah, well, you're the president. As for me, I'm definitely old, even though I try to act cool because Charlie, I find it difficult to write shorthand because I actually have to think about it. I have communicated in the long form forever that it is easier for me. I can even on a smartphone thumb type a full email without looking on the screen. It's like you're doing touch typing. So when you have to now start abbreviating, in my personal experience, I would have to, really think about it first, and that's just too much time. But there are other people who are doing it cool, and let's not forget that things are evolving very quickly. I mean, even in the way we speak, and the way people write their names nowadays. I mean, I think it's a bit of an extension of the culture of Ebonics. That we've taken on the whole Ebonics culture, and we're changing the way we even write our names. People are spelling Kofi with Quophi,
exactly.
And all kinds of interesting things. So, do you think that the cultural shift we're finding in other spheres is making its way into the computer-mediated communication space?
Okay, well, I would say it's in the computer-mediated communication space. It's always been there, especially with the hackers and the geeks. There was elite speak for some time, and that was basically to avoid systems detecting their conversations, because this is hackers who are communicating amongst themselves, and that's the birth of replacing vowels with numbers and certain letters, certain consonants with numbers. So let's say a T would be a 7, and E would be a 3, and O would be a 0. There was that period, but then it passed because it was
like
very.
All the secrets.
Hi there, Michael.
Michael has just gagged you. Michael, welcome. We lost you for a moment.
Oh, you had me? I didn't even know that because I've been trying to connect for quite a while.
Oh, you were on there, and then suddenly, poof, you were gone. But you're back like a genie, and we're happy to have you.
Yeah, Michael Copperfield.
Wow.
So Spiky, you swore an oath to not give away the secrets of the trade, But I understand the whole concept of elite speak, where people have coded, conversations. But that was a lot more. That was easier because these were people who already were used to working with a combination of alphanumeric characters to write codes and do the things that they had to do. So, but for people who in our everyday lives, we only speak numbers or we speak alphabets, how much of an adjustment will that be? Michael, since we have you on, how much of an adjustment do you think is required to be able to normalize textism?
You're talking about learning a new language, basically. Because you're applying new meaning to a new combination of words and, in many cases, numbers as well to convey a message. We will remember a time when you send your parents Actually, no. There's even a better example of that. So, someone posted a chat of between her and her mom, talking about something she wanted her mom to do for her. And when her mom did it, then she replied that, "Oh, mom, you're the goat." Which is like,
I can see how this would go if it was my mom.
yep. And my mind, it's a Nigerian was a Nigerian parent and child, which is basically a Ghanaian but with a lot of body. You can imagine immediately how that conversation went. That, "Who are you calling a goat, young lady?" And luckily, it was a text conversation. So before the mom had to turn to type out all of
All her rantings.
then the girl quickly hits back with, "Oh, it's the abbreviation for greatest of all time. That is what I'm saying you are." And this only came up, what is it? It's not even been 2 years since the GOAT abbreviation started being used. And that's the pace of these things. Even just recently, and that's the thing, online speech is mixing, is because of the speed of how online the internet transmits news and current affairs and cultures and society change as a result of these things. Now, online speech is not just a combination of shortening of words into abbreviations, but now new meanings are given to already existing words. Because GOAT is an abbreviation, but now a new way of describing things that have come out is a new way of describing the number 50 is Virgil.
Wow.
Oh, you actually said
No,
that.
no. Wait.
I never knew that.
I never knew that. This must be something amongst the Liverpool fans.
It's actually quite recent. It's very recent with this entire Black Lives Matter issue. So I think Michael should explain.
Michael, then help us appreciate why that number is called Virgil.
Winston, help me with his full name, please. Do you remember?
So Mr. Virgil Abloh, who I think is a curator for Louis Vuitton or something like that.
Yes, he is.
I believe we know who he is. He's a very popular person in the fashion industry. Yeah, he had a little kerfuffle that Michael will finish up with.
So during the uproar of, well, as it's still going on, the Black Lives Matter movement, while the uproar is going on, a big call has been going on as well for people to contribute in some way to the cause. Now, a big way for people to contribute to the cause is publicly donating funds to several fundraisers that have been going on. And what is prudent to do now is that when you donate the funds, if you're a big name person like Mr. Abloh, you must also show how much you contributed to show people that you are serious and dedicated to the cause. Now, it is said that Mr. Abloh is a man of significant means, so everyone expects him to contribute, yes, and he expects him to contribute significantly. But he made a mistake of making his contribution when it started off $50 in the same space where people are donating at least in the hundreds of thousands. And people started calling him out for under donating. And as a mark to that, people have then started replacing the term 50 with Virgil.
Holy
so
shit.
Saying 100%, you say 2 Virgils.
Let me add some more flesh to the story.
Please beef this up for us.
So, Virgil Abloh owns Off-White. Now, Off-White is a very, very big brand. And he is, like I said, a curator for, I think, Louis Vuitton or Gucci or something like that. So he's a big player in the fashion industry. Now, Black Lives Matter protests are happening. And the thing is that generally, if you are an influencer, you are kind of a black influencer of sorts, you are expected to say something, right? And so people asked Virgil that, what are you doing to help the protest and everything? And Virgil was like upset. Mr. Abloh, was upset. And he said that he has donated, and he told his donation of $50. And everybody was upset because Off-White, the cheapest thing on Off-White is over $150, $200 for one of his t-shirts, like regular t-shirts that they've written off-white on it, so white tee with off-white on it, it's over $100. And you, a man of significant means, thought that a $50 donation into the Black Lives Matter protest and everything was the best thing. So that's what, like Michael said, translated into us saying that, Virgil is equal to 50 because your man believes that, that was the best thing to donate.
Well, you can't blame him. If you're shortening everything, he might as well shorten his money.
Trust you, Spiky, to come up with that. But I mean, if so, do you foresee that certain things could happen and become, the rallying point for the evolution of textism?
Well, I personally think that textism, yes, even though most of us don't like it, Michael, Winston, and I don't like it, it's really going to become a thing because people still seem to think that we're still in the era of SMSs. So sending a message in WhatsApp still requires you to use short form language, and it's been consistent, and especially among the new generation who are used to these, and they're always coming up with new ones like the LWKMD, laugh one, kill me, die, and all those ones. So yeah, you never knew LWKMD?
No, I've never heard that.
Okay.
Isn't it just interesting the guy who doesn't like the thing actually seemed to be the one bringing up quite a lot of it? Spiky, why don't you
Because I'm constantly asking people, what does this mean? And so I'm constantly being educated about all these things. Like, I'm going to tell you one that I learned and I can't forget. YLSNED.
YL.
What that is?
SNED.
NED.
Okay, so Y is definitely you. S is like or love. S is Charlie. See, this is why I can't get used to it. It's too much work. So bail us out.
Stands for you learn something new every day.
Goodness, yes, indeed. We just learned something new today. Guys, we're going to take a short break. Stay with me. We're going to take a short break and then pay some bills and come back and continue with the rest of the conversation. But indeed, YLSNED. And I've learned that we have bills to pay.
Hello.
This is UGMC COVID Connect.
I'm Dr. Wilfred Asma.
I understand you have a runny nose. It doesn't necessarily mean you have COVID-19, and that is why I need you to calm down so that we do the best we can to help you.
COVID Connect, a digital service, connects you to the medical team at the University of Ghana Medical Center for quality medical support, expert psychological counseling, testing, and in-hospital management. Access COVID Connect by downloading Lucy Vitals on Play Store or iOS. COVID Connect is brought to you by the UGMC, the Ministry of Health, and supported by the Farm Access Foundation.
Mate, see, collect my phone and tell the person, say, it fell in your car. I need to send this person mobile money, but we are not on the same network, and they also won't understand.
You can now send and receive mobile money on all networks across a year easy.
Hey, sir, I didn't know.
News.
From your network to other networks, you can now send and receive mobile money directly across IA Easy. This service is powered by GIFT.
You're welcome back. It's 45 minutes past 7. This is still Geek Squad with me, Nhyira Addo, and on the line, I'm sitting in for Spiky, who incidentally happens to be on the line. As a matter of fact, we should have just got Spiky to host the show from the corner that he's in. Spikey is on there with Michael Copperfield and Winston. These are the chief geeks in Geek Squad. And so, just before we left for that short break, Spikey just taught us something. It says YLSNED. Now, it's a mouthful to just say. Why can't you just say you learn something new every day?
Look, my ears are still ringing from that abbreviation.
Yeah, I feel like saying UB2K.
You've been to the UK?
No, see, it's UB.
Well, been to no.
Exactly. No, but I think for some party games it might actually be nice to do that. And I'm compiling a quiz for the three of you. I'm gonna see who comes up tops, and then you might get some tax-free money from me. So prepare yourselves. You don't get excited. I'm following, it's abbreviated, so you might get 50 pesos. You never know. But go on, Michael. Winston.
It looks like it's going that badly.
Are you sure?
So, Nhyira, there's a whole lot of literature, like you mentioned before, we began the discussion about how sexism could lead, it's actually affecting people's grammar. And one thing I've begun to realize over time is how people are confusing certain words like you are, the short form of you are, for your, the possessive form of your.
That's right.
And someone is saying there and they're confusing it with they are. And it's just terrible.
So do you
There's
think
so much literature?
Do you think that as the literature evolves, people are going to have to sort of, as Winston said earlier, learn a new language? So you have to be as eloquent in textism as you are in the written word of English language or whatever language you write in.
That's the fear right now, because when you think about it, if people are mentioning or spelling words wrongly or saying something to mean another thing when it actually already means something else, do you then have to do you have to become fluent in typos and textism, which already is wrong, or you have to call them to order to correct what they are saying? I think it becomes very difficult.
I mean, I don't know if sexism will ever become extremely mainstream to the point where you have to worry about it in an interview or something of the sort. Maybe in a social media position interview, you probably have to consider your ability to use these abbreviations. But I mean, it's one word. It's similar to pidgin. One word can mean so many things. So it becomes like you are jumping hoops all the time because it depends on the context. The context affects the way it comes out. And even texting in itself has its own drawbacks where you can't get the tone of what the person is saying. Do I see us having conversations where we are, instead of saying I know, right, we are IKRs and LMA, or I don't see it happen. Personally, I don't see it happen.
Well, people communicate their excitement. For instance, someone says LOOOOOOL, means they're very, very happy and they're laughing out loud.
But then it's an inverse relationship, because the more O's you use in the LOL, the more unlikely you are to actually be laughing.
That's for you.
Interesting.
How did LOL become like a basic way of showing that you hear? Let's be honest.
Actually,
I don't want to respond.
It no longer, it's actually a very non-committal, phrase. If I could use that expression. That you write something. It's like you're telling somebody, Charlie. So when will this thing be ready? And LOL.
Back to old conversations now.
It's now a mitigator instead of an actual way of communicating.
Yeah. But some of these words have gotten a very interesting place. Like if you use the letter K, it is seen as an aggressive or a dismissive way of saying okay. I don't know why, but yeah, that seems to be the thing right now. So it's like it's very nuanced. This entire thing. It is learning a whole new language.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed, and I'm going to be testing the three of you. Spiky, are you guys ready? Should we play fast as we don't have buzzers? So you know what? I'll ask the question and then I will count you down in 3 seconds. Because you guys are geeks, you have to be fast. You have very, very fast processors. So here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna start. Whose name is alphabetically closest to Z? Winston. So it's Winston, Spiky, and then Michael. So we just have to. If we're flipping the language around, we might as well flip the rules around. So we're starting closest to Z. So Winston, you're first up, right?
Okay.
Okay, so should I give you a clue or just ask you the question? What is LML?
LML.
Yes.
I have no idea what LML is.
Okay, Spiky, for a bonus point. LML.
Laugh my loud.
Okay, Michael, give it a shot. Say again. Really? Okay, so let me give you a context and see. I'm going to start with you, Winston.
Okay.
Someone is pretty much on your case trying to feed you wisdom about how to do things. LML.
Learn, man, learn.
No.
Oh my
so you see, it's going to be difficult. It's let me live.
Oh, let me live.
Yeah.
Wow.
See? Okay. So then 2M 2H.
2M 2H.
Yes. Winston.
Is this still me? I thought we were moving to Spiky right now.
Yeah, because none of you got it right. So okay, so Spiky, is your major question?
MMHH.
No. 2M 2H.
Oh. 2M 2H. No. To make to have.
Tomato. Hey. No.
To make to have.
Okay, all right. No, and for you, bonus, Winston.
No, it's Michael's turn.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael's off.
I'm right.
Michael has squeezed into Winston's stream.
You people are just weird. Okay, let's just. I'm not going to ask you how you got into Winston's stream. But okay, so Michael, you're up.
2M 2A.
Mm-hmm.
Too much, too heavy.
Okay, stay right there. Wait. Spiky, you are disqualified at this moment. So because now from Sphinx has just texted a response in. Spiky, let's test your knowledge. What did you think? You were screaming, "I got it."
Too much to hate.
Shame on you. The correct answer is too much to handle.
Oh,
it was so easy. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a context for the next one. Your boss sends you CM.
Michael,
this is yours.
It's your turn, Michael. No, Spiky missed the question.
I'm the quiz master. Michael, it's your turn.
Oh, my boss sent me CM.
Yes.
Challenge mandate.
Charlie, this thing is going to take a while, though. Now thinks it means corporate meeting.
It could mean that.
That does make sense.
No,
that makes sense.
Why would your boss reach out to you? It's simple. Call me. Okay, so I know FC might sound like football club, but what does FC mean?
Fully capable.
Okay, that's not correct. Yes, next.
Frequency control.
Frequency control.
Frequency control.
Guys, you don't talk frequency control in regular.
Forget Corona.
No, fingers crossed we can forget Corona sometime in the future. All right, final one for you guys.
There's a whole emoji for fingers crossed.
Yes, there is, and it's quite interesting you bring that up. You know how some of these abbreviated texts have evolved into emojis.
Yeah.
Because now your ROT rolling on the floor, ROTSLM. God,
you actually had to read it out to remember
because rolling on the floor laughing, there is actually an emoji for that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see this evolving from the parts where the emojis that we are super used to using all the time can evolve, that the text will evolve into emojis, so the next level of textism would now become the use of emoji? Spicy,
I see that.
You see that?
Yeah, because it's even in gifts. It's spread out throughout media. Like, it's gotten to a point where on Twitter or on any social media platform, you don't even have to write LOL or something. There are certain specific gifs or emojis that when someone sees, they know what you're talking about, or they know how you're feeling, or what it is you're trying to carry across. So yeah, these textisms they've really evolved.
I feel that they're not for much longer because of the evolution of emojis and GIFs.
And animated emojis.
That's true.
And stickers.
So these things could actually, Bitmoji is a whole new cool thing now. I discovered that a few weeks ago, man. Guys, we only have 2 more minutes to go, so I'm going to hit you with my very last one. See, I wrote the thing and I've even forgotten what it means, so tell it. February, what was this one? Okay, so MFH. Any one of you who thinks it first can go, because this one I don't think you get it.
MFH.
Yes, M for. No.
Wait, hold up. What did you say? MFH?
Yes, MFH. Yeah. Michael Foxtrot Hotel. All right, so we've got 50 seconds to go, and you don't have this one. It's my foot hurts.
Come on, who's coming up with these things?
I am.
I had.
Fairboy and I came up with these. So this is how
I was just about to say, I heard Fairboy's name, I suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I think this has been a very fun conversation, and just quick one-word answers from each one of you, starting with you, Spiky. Yes, it has a future. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Michael?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, 2 out of 3. Winston?
It actually does.
All right, well, whether you're choosing to be the odd one out or not, all I have to say to you guys is ADBB. I'm all done. Bye-bye.